Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to our City Council meeting tonight. And we would like to excuse the mayor. He has some personal family issues that he will not be attending our meeting tonight, so we excuse him at this time, and we welcome all of you. All of the necessary notices have been posted, and we will proceed with the agenda as outlined. We will first have a public hearing where we will be receiving public comment on the vacation of a portion of public utility easement at 1132 North, 1050 East, lot number 4, Haven Heights, Plat A subdivision, reducing the public utility easement to 5 feet along the rear property line. So we welcome any public comment at this time. If you could limit your comments to 2 minutes, that would be appreciated.
Is it just to that?
Just to this, please, yes. Hearing none, we will close our public hearing and we will begin our regular session. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, after which Councilmember Barnes will give our invocation. If you'd all please rise and follow me with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dear Father in heaven, as we gather here this evening as members of this community to participate in a city council government meeting, we give thee thanks for the blessings and for the freedoms that we enjoy, for the opportunity to hold such meetings, to discuss items that pertain to the city and to the residents of the city. We're grateful for the blessings and freedoms that we enjoy in this great land. We're grateful for those who serve in our community as well as throughout the world to protect and defend those freedoms. We pray as we meet here this evening, Father, that we might be able to discuss the matters that are before us, that we might have wisdom and knowledge in making good decisions that will further this city. We're grateful for the community, for each resident of this city. We're grateful for the employees who serve in this city and for the wonderful work that they do. We thank thee again for all of our blessings and pray that again we might have a good meeting this evening. And we do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Councilmember Barnes. I will now conduct a roll call. Councilmember Hunter. Here. Councilmember Shelton.
Here.
Councilmember Barnes.
Here.
Councilmember Carroll.
Here.
And I am Councilmember Taylor, Mayor Pro Tem, and I'll be conducting the meeting tonight. We will now open our 20-minute comment period. We would like to make note this will be limited to 2 minutes apiece. We have one gentleman, Mr. Stephen Williams, has put his name in, and then we will open it up after that. Mr. Williams, if you could please come and address the council.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taylor. I have a document for each city leader. I would ask you to listen to my presentation. I have one for the mayor. Can I give you?
Yes.
This? And then David Bunker, I have one for Mr. Bunker as well. Thank you. Mr. Barnes. Sir. Ms. Carroll. And Mr. Hunter. And Mr. Shelton. And Mr. Taylor. Thank you. And again, if you would kindly just use that as a reference after I complete my presentation, I would appreciate that. I am Steve Williams, representing the Stone Hollow HOA Board, encompassing a 44-unit twin home development near the Intermountain Healthcare Hospital. I'm very grateful to make this presentation to you tonight. For us at Stone Hollow, being responsible citizens of our wonderful city is very important to us, to properly maintain our streets and to do all those things that we are responsible for. Tonight I am here seeking a partnership with you, our city leaders, to save millions of gallons of water in response to our horrific and historic drought. I have to smile that it's raining today when I'm making this presentation, but I'm reminded that just a few days ago, Salt Lake City experienced a record temperature of 107 degrees. We believe in the wisdom of responding to the threats of this consequential drought requires us to seek and find optimal solutions sooner than later. Too little, too late is an outcome that we are diligently striving to avoid. We are grateful to the staff of the Public Works and Planning Department of the city who met with us and considered our project to save millions of gallons of water by making available 1 to 2 building lots in our community to fund an entire new irrigation system and to do zero landscaping for all of our substantial common area. We learned in those meetings that we are confident that we can comply with the density requirements that are in place today. But we learned that we needed consideration for variances to some codes whose requirements would make our project unobtainable. We were told that our project is a self-imposed project. Thereby, it does not qualify for any consideration of variances. We respectively state that our project is in direct response to this horrific and historic drought, and it is in no means a self-imposed project. We ask for follow-up discussions with you, our city leaders, who have the authority to say and act that the current and potential consequences of this historic and horrible drought warrant ways to save millions of gallons of water. And I thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
And I reference you to the letter that I provided. I've attached to the letter a site map of our HOA, and you can see that we do have substantial common areas in our community. We've done very much some calculations that show how much water we can save. We're hopeful that if we can save 60 to 65% of the water consumption that is now required, that we can save 1 million gallons of water a year. So again, we look forward to follow-up discussions.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. We have that documented, and you are on the record, and our city administrator, Mr. Bunker, has that, and we will discuss that, and if needed, we will reach back out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Question, if I may. Have they met with Planning Council, Commission, or anybody else to discuss any of this, or is this kind of the first we're hearing about it as a city?
Can I respond, sir, a little bit? We met
You're at
with
the microphone.
We met with Patrick and Rebecca Andrus multiple times, twice I think, to discuss what we were striving to accomplish, and asked to help us understand what the path looks like in order to be able to accomplish our goal, and they gave us a lot of feedback.
Great. Well, we appreciate that and the additional information passed out to us, and we appreciate your time this evening, and we'll reach back out as needed.
Thank you. We look forward to that follow-up discussion.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Beck?
Yeah, City Council members, my name is Dennis Beck. My comments, I'm going to refer it to the subdivision going on at 757 North 200 East here in American Fork. The last time that we met, we had a controversy, I guess, on the 400-foot cul-de-sac requirements. I'd like to know where we're at with this, because I know we spent an hour talking about this, and I guess the conclusion was that to have that 400 feet removed. So where are we at with this?
That item is scheduled to go to Planning Commission in the next Planning Commission meeting. So it's a land use issue, so that will go before the Planning Commission for consideration.
So that would be next Wednesday in these chambers.
It just seems like one meeting right after another, and it's so frustrating. I mean, we've been at this for now almost two years, and it just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back. It's affecting our lives. My wife, she's kind of beyond herself with this. Let me just tell you a few things about, and I know the music's got to start playing. This is our first time selling our home and our property, and so there was a lot of questions that I had, and I tried to get in touch with the building department, with the engineering, and sometimes I was able to meet with them, sometimes I wasn't. I left messages, and part of the time I was able to talk with somebody over the phone, and then it came to a point where they just said, you know what, if you want any more questions answered, you need to go to David Bunker. So I said, okay, fine. So I went to David, I called his office, and Sister Taylor, or whatever, I can't remember what her first name is, and she says, well, yeah, I'll go ahead and have David call, and I was able to talk with David a couple times, and but I've left messages and messages. I know she's only part-time, and finally, the last time that I spoke with her, she says, okay, David Bunker, he's so busy, he can't help you anymore with your questions. And I says, okay, the building department says, I got to go to David Bunker, and then his secretary says, okay, no, he's too busy. So I says, okay, we got a city council meeting coming up. I'm going to send an email out to each one of you that sit on the council here. And one of you, I sent 2 emails. Guess how many responses I got on that? Absolutely nothing. So here I am, a taxpayer, paying wages, doing my dues, and now nobody wants to talk to me.
Mr. Beck, I'm very sorry, and I apologize. I never received any email from you. I don't know, I can't speak for the rest of the council.
Okay, I went to the...
But let me say, I'm sorry. I don't completely understand because I'm not in your shoes, but I know the frustration you must feel. I would invite you back Wednesday, and I know it's yet another meeting, and the wheels of government tend to turn very, very slow. I can't assuage your heartache. I can't assuage the issues with your wife, though I understand and I am compassionate towards that. The best we can do is Wednesday in front of the Planning Commission. We can address these issues and take the time and do that. There's nothing that we can accomplish. We are aware, several of us are very aware of the circumstances. And rather than belabor it this evening, which you are more than apt and understanding to do, the best thing for us to do is address this in the best way we can, and that is next Wednesday before the Planning Commission, and go from there. Again, I have received no email regarding this.
Okay, I went to the city website, and I got each one of your your email address, and I asked, could I either talk with you over the phone or meet with you in person before our city council meeting? And I didn't get anybody.
Yeah, well,
Dennis, Dennis, I'm happy to meet you in person if you want. I'm happy to give you my cell phone number right off the bat, and that way maybe we go right from these email servers. I don't know. Sometimes, I'm not making excuses, but I will tell you this. I feel like the city does owe you an apology. I've been very aware of what happened last Wednesday night, and quite frankly, as one council member, owe you an apology. The lack of communication is unfortunate in our city, and having agenda items pulled without any communication is just not acceptable in my book as one council member. So I'll be talking, as I have, with city staff and other city staff members, and encouraging other council members that we need to improve our communication to our development process. I know that doesn't help a ton, but hopefully you know that it's not falling on deaf ears, and I'm
Okay, just one more comment. I have people coming to me because they say, what's going on? How come you haven't started your home yet? And they're saying, who should I vote for? Who should I not vote for? And I haven't got an answer to that yet, because, I'm still wanting to give you another try. But if it keeps up, I don't have any other alternative. So,
Well, and I might make it easy. I've already told many people I don't plan on running for election, but that doesn't change my ability to still be very interested in your project and trying to help you out. So I think that stands for any council member here, that beyond being reelected, I think that we'd all be very interested in understanding your concerns and trying to address them.
okay, thanks.
Mr. Beck, honestly, I don't know any council person here that wouldn't respond to your email if they received it. And I find it peculiar that not a single one of us have received that email. So, again, there's more than Rob that are willing to talk to you about this. This council would be cooperative and be willing to listen.
I'm not
without
making
any
this up.
threat of re-election. I know you're not making it up. I wouldn't infer that for a moment. But I just want you to know that if there is some issue, we can provide you with our personal information after this. I don't know why those emails wouldn't get through. But to not get through to any of us is a bit peculiar. And we would be willing to help. So,
Okay.
and that, there's no basis for whether we're going to be reelected or not. That has very little bearing. So,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Are there any other public comments this evening? Okay, then we will close the public comment period, and we'll move forward to the city administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just have one item to report to the council and to the community, and that is on September 26th, we will have what we affectionately call Bubble Day, where we put the bubble back on the swimming pool. In order to do that, we have to close the facility down. We cannot have patrons in the facility. So we will close the pool through October 3rd. So there will be just over a week there that the pool will be closed. And so we worked out agreements with the cities of Lehigh and Pleasant Grove in order to have our patrons be able to access their pools during that time. So if someone needs to or wishes to go to those communities, they can. But wanted to report that, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bunker. I think it may be easier at times to close First East and Main Street intersection than it would be to close the fitness center. But I, for one, really appreciate the cooperation that you've initiated with our fellow cities, and that's the way it ought to be. Thank you very much. We'll now move to our council reports. We will start with Councilmember Carroll.
I think I'll just make a comment that I enjoyed the groundbreaking for the fire station. I was really looking forward to that. We've been working for many years toward that, and it was really a highlight to be able to participate in that. Perhaps I'll also mention that I was able to attend the League of Cities and Towns Legislative Policy Committee, and one thing that might be of interest is they were talking about how there are many legislators who are looking at restricting cities from allowing them to do any sort of restrictions on short-term rentals. So they're coming up with a resolution to request that not be enacted. But I'll keep watching that. That's all I have to report.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Carroll. Councilmember Barnes.
Nothing to report tonight, sir.
Thank you, Councilmember Shelton.
Thank you. Just real quick, the beautification committee met. They're always trying to brainstorm great new ideas, and the latest and greatest is community garden topic came up. They asked me just to gauge interest with the council, so if you guys don't mind grabbing maybe after or for a few minutes, we can talk about that. I asked them, it's nice to have a little more substance to sink our teeth into, to see what we're supporting versus just saying, hey, we like this idea, but the devil's always in the details. So they're supposed to be doing some researching, looking at various properties and things of that nature. I know we've tried it before and we discussed those concerns, but happy to provide any feedback you all have to them. Also had a meeting with North Point Solid Waste. We had a chance to review the presentation that they're going to go out and do to different cities. And so hopefully they'll be on a work session coming up in the next few months where they can be able to give a little more information about North Point. It is a very well-used facility, and we've gotten our money out of that facility. Anyone that's been there, I always joke, can see the natural ventilation we have between certain things that haven't been maintained or damaged that just haven't been repaired, and probably time to be able to look at redoing the facility. There's a lot to consider with that and more to go that wouldn't involve more than this report at this time, but I think it would be good to get them on, and we'll arrange that with the mayor. And then last but not least is dispatch. We've had a few issues as of late with some of our towers out there, and working with the state of Utah. And public safety would be able to say it's not fun when your walkie-talkies don't work and you've got issues to try to be able to respond to calls. So I made a meeting with UCA. We'll be having that with them coming up in a couple weeks, and hopefully looking at how we can try to resolve those down times and outages from happening and minimizing and building some redundancy. So that's my report.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Shelton. Councilmember Hunter.
Thank you, Councilmember Shelton. I was there Saturday making several loads to Leo. Luckily, I made it. The first load was before the crowd, and the second load, I watched the camera to determine that I was not going back for a second. So I have a trailer full in my backyard ready to go. I'm going again tomorrow, by the way. So, just wanted to report on the Parks and Rec, Parks Trails and Rec kind of transition of hats with Camden moving out. Derek kind of rolling over into that position. Had a good opportunity to visit and meet, and another good opportunity to just kind of reset the focus there, and it was good. Apparently it's been a tradition to have a little barbecue every year, but the last couple they haven't done that because of COVID and such. So it was fun to do that, and fun to kind of just let your guard down just a little bit. So excited for what lies ahead there. I know the mayor had some time out in the butterfly fields and milkweed jungles, and had a great experience there. So I know we're doing great things, and we look forward to continuing that. And then just to piggyback on Councilwoman Carroll's comments about the groundbreaking, that was truly a wonderful ceremony. I couldn't be more happy for the men and women in our public safety. You see, just based on the turnout, how important that is. And we're looking forward to really breaking ground officially and get going on that. So.
Thank you, Councilmember Hunter. I won't belabor that, but I got something really genuine out of that, other than the poor counsel I received from Councilmember Hunter on when to turn my shovel over and dig in. And it was evident from the pictures that I was clearly off, but I was following his cue on that. But I was, I'm obviously probably the most excited for our citizens and those of Cedar Hills as well, who more than overwhelmingly came through and voted that forward. I loved seeing the mayors of our two cities coming together and the council members that were there. And just to go on what David announced earlier with the cooperation. In today's day and age, cooperation in situations like this doesn't seem natural like it used to be. But it's so refreshing to see the cooperation and the brother and sisterhood between our two cities. And that is due in large part to what our public safety people have done and the relationship that they've forged and provided for a number of years with that. And so I'm very proud of them, very grateful to finally be getting this underway, and hopefully by this time next year we'll have a new fire station. So I appreciate all of that. Thank you all for your reports. We will now go in on our agenda items of the common consent agenda. As you can see, and you good people are able to read on the screen above, we have the approval of the July 12th, July 19th minutes, and multiple other items that I won't take the time to read through that are there. So are there any questions on the common consent agenda, or are there changes to the minutes that need to be addressed with Stephanie?
I move to approve the common consent agenda.
I have a motion from Councilmember Carroll
I'll second.
and a second from Councilmember Shelton. We'll do a roll call vote. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor votes aye. Councilmember Barnes.
I'll vote aye, but abstain from the July 12th minutes because I was not in attendance.
Okay, I don't know how to note that, but I'll leave that to you, Stephanie.
That's why I said it.
I would embrace and lock arms with your fellow council members who have gone over that and said, hey, thumbs up, and just jump in with this time. But that's up to you. So Councilmember Hunter.
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Thank you very much. We'll now move into action item 1, that is review and action on a resolution to accept or reject the Shelley Aston annexation petition to annex consisting of 1.07 acres at approximately 830 East, 30 North. We have the applicant here. I don't know necessarily if we need to hear from Jesse. Is there any questions from the council members that would
Just excited to see this actually come to fruition, so really appreciate staff and the Shelleys being patient, working through this unique situation that they found themselves in. So I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution accepting the petition for annexation of the Shelley Aston annexation consisting of 1.07 acres located in the area of 830 East, 30 North, and authorize the city recorder to determine if the petition meets the statutory requirements and to certify the petition. That's just a little bit more unique than we usually have, so.
have a motion from Councilmember Shelton?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Barnes. We'll go with a roll call vote. Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor votes aye. Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Thank you very much. And to the Shelleys, celebration. Congratulations. Look forward to having you in the neighborhood. Not all of you can say that, so.
None of us did.
We'll go to item number 3, which is review and action, obviously it's item number 2, sorry. Review and action on an approval of a Class C beer license for J&F Hospitality Group Incorporated, doing business as Del Mar, located at 598 West Main Street. If you haven't been down there and had the appetizer shrimp dish, you probably should leave right here and head down once that opportunity is before. Cool. Yeah, it's quite an item. However, it's not relevant to this.
I'll make a motion to approve the Class E beer license for J&E Hospitality Group doing business as Del Mar located at 598 West Main Street.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilmember Shelton and a second from Councilmember Hunter. We'll do a roll call vote. Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor votes aye. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
There we go. Thank you. Action item number 3, the ordinance approving, the ordinance approving the park tax funds for Hunter Park Playground. I should have mentioned earlier, folks, all of these items have been included in a packet that the city council members have had a few days to review. So there's probably little question on this, but this is a great opportunity for us to add to one of our local city parks. And if there is no question or discussion, I would accept a motion.
Just one question, if I
Okay,
may.
Councilmember Barnes?
Did this go to Park Tax Committee? I didn't see anything anywhere that said it did. I don't think it's really required, but I don't know.
There was
I'm just
not,
curious.
there was not a presentation with a vote, but it was passed on to the Park Tax Committee.
I believe Camden reached out to the committee to just let them know this would come forward to the council.
They were aware and in favor.
With that, I'd make a motion to move to adopt the ordinance approving the disbursement of park tax funds to the American Fork Parks and Recreation for completion of Hunter Park Playground.
Have a motion from Councilmember Hunter,
I'll second.
second from Councilmember Carroll. We will now go for a vote. Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor votes aye. Did you notice I've been in the fifth slot every time on that? It's interesting. Okay, Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Just the little bits
Squirrel.
of trivia you pick up here at council meetings, kind of nice. Don't, Ken, it's better than that. So, okay, item number 4 is review and action on ordinance approving final plat for Stone Creek, Plat J, subdivision located in the area of 1000 South, 400 West, and consisting of 33 units in the PR 30 zone. Any questions? Or Patrick, would you like to address this? Any questions from the council?
There was just one item that I spoke with the applicant about, and it's probably worth the council knowing about, and that's they're looking to get their approval tonight, but they're likely going to come back with just an amendment based on some items that are forthcoming with Planning Commission and City Council, just to change corner lot sizes.
Okay.
But that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you.
So with that, excuse me, I'd like to move to adopt the ordinance approving the final plat for Stone Creek Plat J subdivision located in the area of 1000 South, 400 West in the PR3 zone, and authorize the mayor and the council to sign the plat and accept the dedications with instructions to the city recorder to withhold publication of the ordinance and recording the final plat, finding that the final plat meets the requirements of section 17.7.210 and subject to all conditions identified in the public record of the August 17th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you, Councilmember Barnes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Councilmember Hunter. We'll go for a roll call vote. Councilmember Hunter.
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor votes aye. Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 4B, an ordinance approving the site plan for Chick-fil-A. Any questions on this? Other than where you might go for that 3 months?
Yeah, I just have one question. What's going to happen to this city if they can't get their Chick-fil-A for 3 months? I don't see anybody here from Chick-fil-A. Oh, there he is. Yeah, I know you've got one in Lehigh, but can you handle double the volume in Lehigh?
The answer is yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Have you ever seen Chick-fil-A not handle a volume? So, I remember we had a similar tragedy when JCW shut down for 90
Yeah.
days. There was
When that was
a
shut down,
crisis in the
that's
city.
horrible.
But we all made it through it. So, okay, with no questions, I would accept a motion. Oh, Patrick.
There was only one thing with this, and it was something that we, as a staff, spoke to engineering about, and they were going to reach out to the applicant, and that's, there is an area on the exit of their drive-through that splits, that allows 2 different exit points. The only thing staff would recommend is that we just condition the shortest route out of the drive-through to be a right-only turn. And that's just to address some potential traffic impacts, where it wouldn't be crossing over different lanes within the parking lot.
Thank you.
They all ought to be right only as far as some of us old people are concerned.
Oh, my.
Just out of curiosity, I was going to ask this question. On the document, it says American Fork City Development Review Committee. It has down planning reviewed it and has a date, has down engineering reviewed it and has a date, but there's no fire. Did the fire department review this?
They would have, fire had satisfied all of their comments in a previous set of plans, and we double checked before sending comments out that everyone has looked at it. So yeah,
And
we
I'm just trying to
spoke
get
with
from
Matt.
that-
We have it on on our admin sheet of when it's checked and good to go.
Okay, I'm just trying to get used to the new process as we're all going through it.
Yep,
So-
and we're working on having just a more transparent thing as well, that council and the public will understand how the process works. That's more of a workflow than having to look through code.
Okay.
Appreciate
awesome.
that, Patrick.
And then just to note
Go ahead.
on here, I'm glad that we changed it from approve to review.
Yep.
But I'm assuming the engineering looked at this back in June. My only concern is now we're coming back again, and that's the same concern and complaint I get time and time again about our review process, is, you know, you had one crack at it, and it looked like it was reviewed in June, and now here we are in September, and we might be going back and making some minor changes that are conditioned upon it. I would hope that I was kind of caught in that review process with the drive lane and seeing where that needs to be
And
at.
it wasn't an overly major issue, but it was something at a later point that did just come up in some discussion that would be, this is worth mentioning early on before we get through, and we have to try and work through it after an approval. It was just brought
Sure.
up to us.
And I'm just kind of giving that feedback.
Yep,
to council members,
100%.
and expectation,
Yep.
trying to limit as many times as we're changing things here at this meeting, that hopefully those are caught more in the review
Yep.
process.
Yep.
So, thanks, Patrick.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. So if you would, whoever makes the motion on this would be mindful of that right turn should you choose to make that a part of your motion. That would be appreciated.
Is that official then? Is that official then that they have to do it?
If you make it part of the motion.
If that's what the council.
That's what I
Without
said,
the
if-
motion,
if you
it's
choose.
not, though, right?
Without the specific instruction in the motion.
That's what I'm getting to. Just want to
Unless
make
the
sure.
applicant so chooses to do it anyway.
So
Please.
I'm representing the applicant, Chris Weiss with American Company. I'm actually the engineer of record. We have no problems making that a write-out if that's the condition of the council.
Okay, thank you.
So with that, I'd make a motion to move to adopt the ordinance approving the commercial site plan for Chick-fil-A located at 183 Northwest State Road in the SC1 Planned Shopping Center Zone, with instructions to the city recorder to withhold publication of the ordinance subject to all items identified in the public record associated with the August 3rd, 2022 Planning Commission meeting, and including the right turn only exit as was discussed in today's meeting.
Thank you, Councilmember Hunter. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second one from Councilmember Barnes. You know, I honestly only have one regret, that the city council can't require the American Fork Chick-fil-A to make the frosted lemonades back in the large size again, which they got rid of. I mean, it's a worthy question, and I've talked to Dusty, I can't get any action on it, but it's too bad we can't legislate that, because that would be worthwhile legislation right there.
There was an article recently about how all Chick-fil-A franchises are following the Salt Lake County, or Salt Lake
Oh, there was
market for
yeah,
a
for like a
spiced
so-
something or another
like,
shake.
yeah.
So you're on target. There
So I
were-
wish we
Like,
could make
yeah,
that happen,
like if
because I'm
we,
double
like-
Maybe
fisting
next
now
year.
and I could just have one.
Apparently, like,
I digress.
We're,
Moving
we're
on.
the aficionados when it comes to ice cream treats. So
Peach
if we
shakes.
like it, the rest of the country will like it.
Goes without saying. Yeah. We had some worthy discussion. We had some worthy discussion right there, David. Let's not rush the wheels of justice here. So we have a motion and a second. I would call for a roll call vote. Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
I
Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor votes aye. Thank you. Item number 4C was a ordinance approving the site plan for the low-power radio antenna. Any questions on this item that we need staff to address?
I'm happy to make a motion. I move to adopt the ordinance approving a site plan for low-power radio antenna located at 1200 North, 550 East in the Public Facility Zone, finding the proposal meets the requirements of Section 17.6.12, with instruction to the city recorder to withhold publication of the ordinance subject to the conditions identified in the August 3rd, 2022 Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you, Councilmember Carroll.
I'll second.
I have a second from Councilmember Shelton. We'll go for a roll call vote. Councilmember Hunter.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor votes aye. Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Thank you. Action item number 5, ordinance amending section 17.4.608 in the TOD zone on definitions and lot type. Again, is there any item here that the council would like staff to address before bringing a motion?
No, but I will just say that I appreciate you looking at that code, and if there's changes that need to be made.
There's more to come.
Yeah, right, that we've talked about. I mean, as through Patrick, who I want to vet those through, then we would like to consider them.
We're still on a full review of the TOD.
Okay.
Okay. I will move to adopt the ordinance approving an amendment to section 17.4.608 of the city code titled Transit-Oriented Development Zone, amending elements related to definitions and lot type assignments.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, any discussion? Okay, we'll go for a roll call vote. Councilmember Hunter.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor votes aye. Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 6, ordinance amending section 17.7.502 in the planned unit development flexible lot projects average lot size. Once again, anything specific that we would like to have staff address?
Can you just, I read this, but can you just clarify it a little bit about what it's doing?
Sure. So the specific section of code for flexible lot projects for our in our PR 3.0 zone required that flexible lot projects had to have an average square foot lot square footage of 9,000.
Right.
It wasn't actually mathematically possible, and then also just if we were reading the code directly, you needed to meet 9,000 square foot. There was no.
It wasn't at least
There-
9,000, it was
It
straight
was to meet
9,000,
9,000. So your 9,001, maybe someone might review that as being problematic, aside from not actually being able to meet 9,000. So we worked with the applicant to create a range based on what the area, the characteristics of the area is like. So we went with the minimum that could be achieved of 9,800 square foot to 12,000 square foot.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
And that would be our range that someone could fall within, and it gives a little bit of flexibility for projects as well, depending on the some of the issues that they might face due to site constraints and everything, to have some range to fit within.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Patrick. Any additional questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to adopt the ordinance approving amendments to section 17.7.502 of the city code titled Planned Unit Development Flexible Lot Projects, amending the average lot size.
Thank you, Councilmember Carroll. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Shelton with the second. Thank you. I'll now go with the roll call vote. Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor votes aye. Councilmember Hunter.
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Thank you. Action item number 7, ordinance approving a vacation of the PUE at 1132 North, 1050 East. Any questions for staff?
I'll just make a comment that I'm going to abstain just because this is my personal residence and probably have a conflict of interest there, so.
Okay.
Okay, well, I will move to adopt the ordinance approving the vacation of a portion of the public utility easement at 1132 North, 1050 East, reducing the easement to 5 feet along the rear property line.
Have a motion from Councilmember Carroll.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Barnes. Go for the roll call vote, please. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor votes aye. Councilmember Shelton abstains. Councilmember Barnes.
I was going to vote no, just so everybody could see it, but he spoiled me being able to do that, so I will vote aye.
So you have to deal with my wife, not me, so.
Councilmember Hunter.
It'd still pass.
Aye.
Thank you. Email or physical invite in the mail will be fine, Rob, for that. Thank you. Action item number 8, resolution authorizing the city to enter into an interlocal for CDBG grants program. We know how beneficial these have been for our community and how we have utilized them. Staff's done a tremendous job. Are there any questions for staff prior to moving on this item?
I think it's great. The only question I have is maybe on the continuity of it continuing forward. I know that we've kind of gone to the lowest hanging fruit, if you will, first, or the areas that met the criteria. Do we still see that in the foreseeable future as we're looking at water line replacements?
There are some areas that would qualify, so we have to perform what's called an LMI survey, or water income. It is getting less and less areas that would qualify. So we will be getting to an end of CDBG at some point. For those types of projects, there are other projects that we can apply for that are CDBG grant-funded projects that we can still apply for.
Sorry, one more question, just out of curiosity. Is that indexed for inflation or do they just keep it fixed on that low to moderate income threshold?
It adjusts.
Was it? Okay, great, thank you.
Just one comment, if I may. I had a neighbor last night that had a suggestion for a road. It's 350 west between 500 north and 700 north. It's below mine, so it's not in front of my home, but it is two blocks of road that is in pretty bad shape, and it may or may not qualify for the funds is my concern, but just one to look into in the future. So 500 to 700 north on 350 west.
Thank you.
With that,
Go ahead.
No.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution entering into a local agreement with Utah County for CDBG program participation and authorize the city to sign the agreement.
Thank you, Councilmember Shelton.
I'll second.
Have a second from Councilmember Hunter. Go for a roll call vote. Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor votes aye. Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter.
Aye.
Thank you. Now we come to that most difficult part of the evening, and that is motion to adjourn. Oh, hey, I'm working off the old one, and I thought,
Yeah.
wow, with the mayor out, they've pulled that off. No, not so.
I'd make
Okay.
a motion to consideration and action to enter into closed session to discuss items described in Utah State Code 52-4-204 and 52-7-205.
Thank you, Councilmember Hunter. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Shelton. We'll go through a roll call vote. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor is aye. Councilmember Shelton.
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter.
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will adjourn to a closed session, after which we will open the door and have the final action item downstairs. So we appreciate your attendance this evening, and if you want to stay and wait for that adjournment, which will certainly be riveting, we welcome you to do so.
I want to have some fun with it.
Darn right.